Welcome to Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions to better health and wellness through intentional living. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions for better health and wellness. And I'm your host, Marsha. So today, what we'll be talking about is self-care, prioritizing self-care in 2025. All right, I always usually start out with a quote. Today's quote, patience is a virtue. All right. Patience is a virtue. And the reason why I say this is because I'm a bit frustrated, and that's only because we have been trying to move for the past few weeks, almost 3 weeks going. Next week will be almost a month. So we closed on the first home and we're not able to move into the second home, and it's getting very frustrating. So stuff is everywhere. It looks like a storage unit at the current house where we are. And so that's why I cannot do any videos at home. So, all right. But like I said, patience is a virtue. So I'm going to dive right in. All right. Let's talk about self-care. All right. That is what I want to talk about. So listen, we have to make sure we are prioritizing our mental health and our self-care in 2025. Right. So mental health awareness has surged, as you know, in the recent years. And it is definitely changing self-care from a mere luxury into definitely something that needs to be an essential practice, right? Statistics does show that 1 in 5 adults face mental health challenges annually. And it emphasizes the urgency of prioritizing wellness, right? But why is self-care so important, and how can it reshape our lives? Studies also show that individuals who embrace self-care experience what? Greater life satisfaction, reduced stress and anxiety, enhanced physical health, and even improved work-life balance. So as we navigate into 2025 and all the challenges that it can bring, self-care is something that we have to make a priority. It has to be more than something that's helpful. It's crucial, right? So prioritizing your mental wellness is not a choice, but it's definitely a vital, crucial step towards growth, resilience, and a peace of mind. So what is self-care, right? It's an intentional practice. It's an intentional practice of nurturing your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. It goes beyond meeting basic survival needs, focusing instead on what uplifts and sustain you rather than what drains you, right? And make you feel down and depressed. So let's talk about those dimensions of self-care. Emotional, managing stress, acknowledging feelings, and setting boundaries, right? We have to be able to manage our emotions. We have to be able to be in touch with our emotions, but being able to manage our emotions in a productive, positive way where where it is not making us so drained and causing different problems for us: stress, anxiety, depression, worry, all of those things, anger, bitterness, resentment. Okay. Physical. Let's look at the physical dimension: staying active, eating right? Eating the right foods, making sure that we make time to either walk, get our steps in, some form of physical activity, right? Eating healthy, making healthy choices, and prioritizing making sure that we get enough rest. That is important. Making sure that we're getting at least 6 to 8 hours of rest each day. What about social? building meaningful connections and engaging with your community. That's important. A lot of people, that go through various different situations, sometimes they don't have an outlet. Sometimes they don't have anyone to talk to. And so building a strong community, whether that's online in social media groups like maybe Facebook support groups, I know they have those, and other types of groups like meetups and things like that, with people like yourself who are experiencing the same things or who have gone through the same things similar to what you may be going through, to help you throughout your journey. All right. And another one is spiritual, right? That's important. Spiritual. Making sure that we practice activities such as being connected to source, whatever your faith and what you believe, making sure we're staying grounded in those things. Being mindful, right? Practicing mindfulness, making sure that we carefully think things through and being mindful before we speak, right? So that's why the practice of mindfulness can help you in those areas of, especially when it comes to your emotional wellness, right? Connecting with nature and engaging with your other support group, your spiritual leaders, whoever you may look to for spiritual guidance. Okay. And these three things, right? They're not something that exists in isolation by itself, right? They are interconnected. They're interconnected. Your emotional, physical, social, and spiritual. And, even when it comes to financial wellness, right? Financial wellness is important because we know that sometimes with finances, if you're not doing good in your finances, it can impact other areas of your life, right? And as well as your family members, right? It can impact. So let's make sure that we're doing that. And for 2025, let's start a new budget. What are you doing to save money? What are you doing to cut back? What are you doing to maybe increase your salary this year? What are you doing to make changes to make your life so that you can change your career if that's what you choose to do, or get that promotion, right? We need to look at those aspects as well, right? And so they're all interconnected, all right? So self-care is not one size fit all, right? It's a deep personal practice, right? That we use. And there's a balanced approach that might include starting your mindfulness prayer, scheduling your time for your physical activity, taking a walk with friends, setting boundaries, right? Setting boundaries, that's important. In your personal and professional space, seeking out communities or groups that align with your values. So what are some of the benefits, right? What are some of the benefits? When you take time to invest in yourself, I always make sure that I invest in myself, right? Whether it's treating myself for my own self-care, whether it's reading books, learning new information, learning a new skill, whether it's doing something, like I said, learning a new skill, and even pampering myself, getting a manicure or pedicure. Well, I don't really do my nails. That I don't do, but I will do my feet, right? I like the natural. I don't like all that other stuff on my nails and stuff. Pretty much a simple gal. But doing the things that we need to do and making sure that we are prioritizing our self-care for our own wellness and well-being, right? And making sure that we are not draining our energy and we have that ability to stay productive throughout the day. That's why setting boundaries is important, right? Setting boundaries, making sure you take those breaks at work, having that time for yourself, having your time to unwind. Maybe when you come in from work, having time to unwind, leaving early, leaving on time for work. All of these things that help you to reduce the stress in your life, right? We have to make sure that we are prioritizing. And these things help you when you do these things, it helps you to be more productive as well as increase your creativity. A refreshed mind is always ready to innovate, right? So self-care, serves as a powerful defense against burnout, creating necessary pauses that keeps the stress levels in check. We've got to do that. What are some strategies? There's some practical strategies that you may already be doing, right? Creating your daily rituals. Maybe before you go to work, maybe before you go into the office, you sit in your vehicle, right? And you sit in your vehicle because you come early, right? You leave to go out to work early. Maybe you leave 30 minutes early, 15 minutes early. So that way you can sit in your car and sip your cup of Joe, whatever it is that you want, or your tea, or have your breakfast, whatever you want to do before you go into the workplace, right? Because we know that for some places, soon as you get to work, you're jumping right in. You're jumping right in, right? And it can be very stressful, especially if you haven't eaten, right? Like I said, taking those regular breaks helps you to recharge. Setting boundaries, establishing your boundaries, learning how to say no, right? Learning how to say no without feeling guilty, right? Without feeling guilty, and saying no in a way that is not offensive, but it's just letting someone know what you can and what you're not able to do. The things you can do, you do, and the things you are not able to do, then you're not able to do it, right? The Ultimate 2025 Digital Glow Up Planner is now available for purchase. Plan your day, track your progress, and reflect on your achievements throughout the year. Don't waste time. Buy it now. Limit your exposure to negativity, right? And that includes social media, right? Limit toxicity, right? Now, at work, you experience different personalities and things like that. And you know that some people stay in drama and negativity, right? So you just have to limit yourself to that, all right? Do the best that you can. Don't engage in the conversation. Just do what you need to do for yourself. Find a way to make yourself productive and useful. Even seek professional support if you have to, right? Maybe your job may offer something like that where they can offer professional support, when people are feeling stressed and overwhelmed. That's why I like employers who offer like either gym packages, free gyms on site and things like that, where you can go and work out and release your stress. I already talked about mindfulness, right? Doing guided meditations and mindfulness, right? And mindful walking, right? What is mindful walking? Let's talk about that. What's mindful walking? You're taking in, you're being present. Mindful walking, being present to the things that are around you, right? Being present to the simple things that we may not even pay attention to, such as the sound of the wind, the leaves, right? The leaves rustling in the wind, the sound of the birds chirping, maybe even the squirrels or the deers. I have a love for animals, and I love the deers, seeing the deers. I don't see them too much in the park out here, but I see them from time to time. But they would always be in the backyard, so I love that. The backyard was nature for me. So hopefully in this new home, I'll be able to experience that more. Or I may have to just go to a daggone deer farm or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So that's my thing of what I like. Find your thing that you like. Find your thing that you can get into, right? So let's do that. Let's make sure that we are doing that with mindful walking, doing breathing exercises to help us navigate through those stressful moments. Remember to always do a self-check and monitor your emotional health, and keep a journal if you have to, right? Keep a journal to track those moods and triggers. What are your triggers? Do you have triggers? What are those triggers? And if you know those triggers, start paying attention to that and work on resolving that, right? Work on resolving those triggers. And that's why it's important to keep a journal to track your mood as well as your triggers. Learn how to have better coping mechanisms that work for you. So identify some coping mechanisms that work for you. What are some things that work for you when you are feeling either triggered or emotionally stressed, you're feeling burnt out? What are some things that you can do to cope, right? Things like breathing, maybe a stress ball. I don't know. Whatever that thing is for you, find that and use it to your advantage. Physical and social self-care. All right. Your body and your social connections are essential components of mental health. All right. So let's making sure that we are paying attention, tuning into our bodies, making sure we are paying attention and tuning into our bodies and what the message and signals that our bodies are telling us. Right. Social self-care. Right. Social self-care is that social support that you may have. Right. And the social support of helping one another, right? Maybe one person is weak in one thing and somebody else is strong in another. And together you balance each other out where you help one another. All right. So we know exercise boosts your mood and your energy levels through endorphins, right? Nutrition. We know that foods rich in omega-3s and complex carbs can stabilize emotions. Right? We know this, right? So, and if you don't know, you know it now. So sleep hygiene, making sure that you have a consistent calming nighttime routine, right? And I already mentioned about the social support. I also talked about spiritual self-care, right? So and I'll elaborate on that a little bit more, connecting with your inner self and the world around you, right? What it does is offers and forces a sense of peace as well as purpose. And like the practices that I've already previously mentioned, meditation, nature walks, and even gratitude is a very important one. I didn't mention that. Gratitude, right? That's a very important one. That's a key component. Because when you can have appreciation and gratitude for the simple things, your outlook, your perspective changes and is better for you. All right. So gratitude is very important. So making sure that you do that. So how can we start? How can we go ahead and get started? If we haven't been doing that, how can we get started? Or if we lost it along the way, right? I know several people this year lost a lot of people, right? I lost my mom. It's been almost 2 years in November, right? But it hasn't been 2 years yet. So I lost my mom, and people have been dealing with losses, right? And after a while, when you hear so many friends and family members who that you knew and you were close with, and you're hearing of all of this, it can get people depressed, right? And so we have to make sure that we're making time to, again, connect with our emotions. Don't sweep them under the rug. Find support. Find the help you need to help you get through those challenging times. It's not always easy, right? We also have to get rid of the guilt that we feel with ourselves when we do something for ourselves. We have to get rid of the guilt, and we have to replace the guilt with self-compassion, right? Give yourself grace and have self-compassion. All right. And don't be afraid if you're in a position where you can delegate, if you're in some type of managerial position, whatever, team lead, whatever, being able to delegating tasks, right? And involve others in your journey, right? So even at home, you can do this at home. Maybe you have small children. Delegate tasks for what things you want each child to do, right? And make it fun, okay? You can make it fun. And they have all these new different things out here, I don't know, smiley stickers. I don't know what they got going on. They got a lot of different stuff that you get these stars, and, you just innovate, make it creative, make it fun so that the kids enjoy doing it and they're getting what needs to be done and helping you in the process. All right. So remember that self-care is definitely not selfish, but it's definitely necessary. It's essential. And so by taking the time to nurture yourself, you can create a ripple effect in order to enhance your ability to care for others and thrive in all areas of your life. So ask yourself, what small stuff can you take today to help you prioritize your well-being? Okay? Your journey for your mental health starts now. It starts today, right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to prioritize your mental health and prioritize self-care? All right. So let's embrace 2025 with resilience, compassion, and purpose, and set a commitment. Have a commitment. Make a commitment. Write a commitment to yourself that you're going to commit to your self-care and make yourself a priority. All right. That is all I have for you today. I wanted to talk about that. So I wanted to talk about that because, like I said, for me, my own personal journey, right, my frustration of not being able to move into our new home is definitely causing some stress. So it's definitely causing some frustration, right? We're definitely we're ready to go, right? We're ready to go into our new home, and we just have all these setbacks, and it's a good thing that we're able to still live in our old home. Okay. We're still able to live in our own home. So it made it a lot better because we would have had to have taken all of our things to storage and be staying somewhere in a hotel. But thankfully we sold our home to a family member, right? My daughter, my stepdaughter. I hate to say stepdaughter, right? But my daughter, right? That is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you make the time to really prioritize self-care and follow the things that I mentioned. Okay? Until next week, bye for now. Stay healthy, stay well.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Health Coach for Women with Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.